some strikes here tomorrow, which may result in 200,000 union members walking out, which could affect water, electricity, phone lines. So more chaos by the looks of things here in Thailand. Colleen?
All right, Dan Rivers for us, watching things there, and we'll check back with you, Dan, as we need to. Now the latest on Gustav. The hurricane is weakening, but it is still battering the beleaguered U.S. Gulf Coast. Take a look at this. It is tracking slowly northwest now across Louisiana. Sustained winds about 120 kilometers an hour at this time. Meanwhile, workers still frantically trying to shore up a levee south of New Orleans. It's a privately owned levee, and it is in Plaquemines Parish. Reportedly, it's in some danger of collapsing. Officials concerned about that and trying to get it shored up. Now, in New Orleans itself, the levees are holding, though some water has gone over the top of the Industrial Canal. That's the area that failed during Hurricane Katrina. Gustav has killed 2 people in the U.S. and left 700,000 people still without power in their homes. Gustav passed over the city of Lafayette, Louisiana, roughly 200 kilometers northwest of New Orleans. Our John Zarella is there, and he joins us now with the latest. Hey, John.
Hey, Colleen, well, it just started raining again as we were coming on the air, and a little bit of a gusty wind, but certainly the worst of Gustav is long gone. And fortunately, by the time it got here to Lafayette, the storm was really a very rapidly weakening tropical system, barely a Category 1 hurricane at the time. And so fortunately, the emergency operations people here have been telling us that damage very, very limited. Unfortunately, trees did fall in one neighborhood in East Lafayette, and in that area of the city, one man, a young man, did die when a tree came through his house. So that's the one fatality reported here in Lafayette. But overall, they are very, very pleased with the circumstances in this city. And boy, Colleen, it could have been so much worse, not just here, but certainly in New Orleans and certainly in all the communities up and down eastern and central Louisiana, had Gustav come in as a more powerful hurricane and had not lost some of its punch as it was approaching the coastline of the United States. Now, correspondent Ed Lavandera has been down southeast of here. About 50 miles he drove this afternoon and early this evening all the way to Morgan City to see how bad it was down there. And he really found that the damage even down there was very limited. Some power lines and power poles down. No major flooding at all to speak of, so that was very good news, because one of the concerns, and it's hard to see right now, but is the Vermilion River here behind me, and all day we've been watching that counterclockwise spin of the storm actually pushing the water from Vermilion Bay, which is way down by the Gulf of Mexico, all the way up the Vermilion River. And so the water is actually flowing south to north here right now, and all those trees you see behind me usually aren't growing in water, Colleen. That's dry land normally there, but you see it's come up about 6 feet during the course of the afternoon here, indicative of just how much worse it is closer to the coastline in places like Grand Isle and places like New Orleans, where the storm surge was even higher. So fortunately, it's leveled off now. The threat of any flash flooding appears to be abating here, not as worried as they once were. So at least in central Louisiana, Colleen, some pretty good news. Officials think that it could have been so much worse, and the situation a lot better than they thought it might be.
We'll know more in the days ahead. Is your sense, John, from talking to people too, that people were just so much more prepared this time than they were 3 years ago?
Oh, no question about it. Not just the people, certainly local, state, federal officials. Everything was in place to react to a major landfalling hurricane potentially causing some widespread devastation. Thank goodness that didn't happen, but people responded. Tens of thousands of people were evacuating. As we were driving in, the lines of traffic going east out of Louisiana were 150 miles long. So yes, people took this very, very seriously.